Hello and welcome back to Crypto Saving Experts News Show, where we talk about the latest cryptocurrency news and take a look at the markets so that we all know exactly what is going. Today, again, we have that Martini guy, our founder here at Crypto Saving Expert, and he is going to run us through some analysis for Bitcoin and potentially Ethereum. I don't know what you're going to run us through today.
Yes, so essentially, looking at the current price of Bitcoin, $20,848 is the current price, and the actual market is looking very decent today. However, understand that there is a CME gap open on the price of Bitcoin. That CME gap for Bitcoin is currently sitting all the way down here at this purple line. Being that Bitcoin broke through all of these levels without having any kind of resistance, it does seem a little bit likely that we actually still come down and close this gap down here at approximately $18,900 on the price of Bitcoin. Of course, that's not the favorable thing to say. That doesn't get many likes. Although saying that, do slap a like on today's video if you're just joining in to the stream right now. In terms of Bitcoin's price, though, it's an interesting one because the other thing would be, look, zoom out on this chart right now. If we break above this level of resistance, look at these volume candles that we have here. It's quickly declining, meaning that essentially it wouldn't take that much for Bitcoin's price to get into this range right here, from my perspective anyway, being that we have a massive gap in the volume right there, or the volume profile. That would be about $26,000 Bitcoin would be a retest of the underside of this previous level of resistance. We could see Bitcoin this week really shooting up very quickly, and that's quite exciting, being that look, if Bitcoin starts shooting up very quickly, altcoins start shooting up very quickly as well, and we could be in for a very bullish bull market in terms of, well, what we're looking at right now. I don't know much else what to say about Bitcoin, but I do know that at the same time, Ethereum is looking at the exact same thing. If you look at the analysis I actually posted in yesterday's video, we have broken the downtrend technically now on Ethereum. I suppose you could plot another slight downtrend level of which we've got to break here, which kind of makes sense, being that this break of this line right here would coincide with the final kind of larger volume profile bar that we see at the side of the screen right here. But to be honest, volume declines so quickly that if we don't get rejected at the levels where we're currently at, Bitcoin is going to head very quickly to the upside, and we look like hitting $28,000 within the span of a very short period of time. But also understand we have that CME gap down at 19,800, so we could also head to the downside. Like, it's very difficult to know. Why $28,000? Well, we've also got a CME gap that is currently open at $28,000. CME gaps act like magnets. When you set out on a path towards one, you keep going on that path towards those CME gaps. So yes, on that note, Jess, my analysis would be things look positive, things look bullish, and overall the market outlook looks decent. But there is one piece of bad news, being that we have a CME gap. Other than that, like, from a fundamental perspective, I would expect the prices to keep rising and more volume keep coming in, market confidence to keep increasing. There seems no reason why it wouldn't at this point in time. So yeah, that's my thought.
I completely agree with that. But as it was going up over the weekend, I was just thinking the CME gap's still there. It's getting a bit more and more dangerous the more it moves.
Yeah,
That's always the case.
we'll understand as well that in terms of the current price of Bitcoin, it is Monday, but currently in America, it's a bank holiday. So when you have a bank holiday in America on a Monday, it means that actually the CME exchange doesn't open until Tuesday, meaning that essentially we've got a 1 day delay on the CME gap. So if you see the price of Bitcoin dipping later today, say it breaks through $20,600, it is going to $19,800, and I'll be looking to make entries on my positions around $19,800, because I think that there is a lot of people also expecting the price of Bitcoin to decline towards $18,600 if we start dropping to the downside. I think that $18,600 is a bit too optimistic, and that actually the last level or good buying opportunity should be somewhere around $19,800. That would be my analysis.
And it actually will be quite healthy for the markets as well, because we've just seen this straight upwards line. It would be quite nice to come down and have some supports retested for the price.
Absolutely. And again, the same would apply. I know you're looking at CoinMarketCap right here, but with TAP is currently sat on a level of resistance. So again, in terms of what my community are interested in right now, TAP is right on that level of resistance. It breaks through 45 today. It could see 50, 60, 70 Satoshis. If you want to look at the actual price of TAP today, the price is up 20% and it keeps rising to the upside. Volume is really kicking back in. It seems that buying activity is there. Again, it just came to the upside again. If you look at the 1 month chart on there, Jess, for TAP, you'll see some significant growth over the course of the past month, but I really do think that this is going to keep growing. That volume is not dropping away. It's starting to come back really with some vengeance today. So yeah, I'm expecting good things to come out of that as well. Anyway, if you want to go back to CoinMarketCap, the news, where do you want to start this live stream?
Yep, let's start with the first article today. We've got Polygon proposed a hard fork for tomorrow, and this is to help with the impact of transactions of gas fees and train reorganizations on Polygon, while also improving Polygon's performance and security. Now, I was looking at the price of this I think this news was announced on Friday, and I expected it to have a bigger impact on the price than it did. Would you expect something like this to impact the price, or would you?
I think that bearing in mind how much, look at the actual volume that is required for this 20% pump that we've kind of experienced over the past few days. If you go up a little bit on the screen, Jess, and look at the actual volume, $569 million of volume. In a bear market, it's still a little bit difficult to attract the serious volume, but seeing Polygon at $1, bearing in mind its all-time high was $3, it's doing amazingly well. It's got a $10 billion fully diluted market cap. And I would expect, again, with stuff like this, the growth of the news is slow but consistent. So I wouldn't expect the prices stopped going up there. I would expect it to continue to rise based off that one piece of news, but also based off the fact that the Polygon network is consistently increasing in users and in terms of adoption. Like, there is a lot of people that build on top of Polygon. A lot of new projects that are launching on the Ethereum network are actually launching on Polygon / Ethereum, because Polygon is a layer 2 for Ethereum. And a lot of people are launching directly onto Polygon so that they can interact with Ethereum and get those Ethereum based users, but at the same time have a much cheaper blockchain to interact with, which is one of the reasons why Polygon is growing so significantly in value, because it makes microtransactions affordable. So yeah, again, that's my thoughts on that one.
Moving on now to the next article, we have Metamask will add liquid Ethereum staking features for all users. Now, I think people that have staked their Ethereum tokens, it says at the bottom here, it's looking like they'll be able to withdraw their staked Ethereum by about March this year. So that's looking like that's going to be deployed. What chain is it? The Shanghai upgrade. So that's what that's looking like. MetaMask are allowing users to stake directly from their self-custodial wallet.
You know what this will encourage? This will mean that more people now hold Ethereum. It'll cause buying demand for Ethereum to rise, because just holding Ethereum, you're going to earn an interest rate of approximately 3% a year, which then people will go, well, I could just hold on to this coin, earn my 3% interest a year, and over time, it will average out that the price of Ethereum will continue to rise. By the way, guys, if you are just joining the stream right now, do slap a like on today's video. I think we're trying to hit 100 likes on today's live stream, so let's try and make it happen. If everybody slaps a like right now, we'll get fairly close. And also, if you are new to the channel, make sure you are subscribed. This YouTube channel is currently sat...
subscribers.
Yeah. We just hit 2,000 subscribers.
Yep.
Oh, that's great. Just hit 2,000 subscribers. So now let's go for 2,100 2,100 subscribers. That'd be amazing. So yeah, please do subscribe to the channel as well. But I think this is good news anyway. I think that when you see more people holding a coin because they can earn interest on it, but that if interest is not generated through FTX stealing users' funds and then giving them to other people and running a Ponzi scheme, when interest is actually generated in a sustainable way, such as Ethereum supply inflation, which basically is lower than what it's ever been before. Currently, Ethereum until 2032 will be more deflationary than what Bitcoin is due to the burn rate on the current Ethereum stack. So basically, because of the way that it works right now, and in terms of the current amount of Ethereum being burned by the new Ethereum upgrades I've experienced recently, the actual supply of Bitcoin is inflating faster than the supply of Ethereum, making Ethereum plausibly a better play, because you can actually earn interest through staking this, and anybody can participate in the network without the need for expensive hardware like Bitcoin mining equipment, which is another bullish catalyst, I think, that will kick off this next bull run. Yeah, what do you think?
Yeah, completely agree. There's my thing just gone off. Right. Let's take a look now at the next article. We have Ethereum blasts past $1,500, erasing losses due to FTX collapse. We've already been through this. We've seen a nice movement over the weekend. We have some more news about FTX. We've seen that FTX co-founder SBF told Gary Wang to create a secret backdoor that allowed Alameda Research to borrow $65 billion in FTX customer funds without their permission. Now, this report comes after we saw FTX post a pre-mortem overview where he was discussing how separate Alameda is, and is a completely independent company to FTX, and he was saying how he's not really been involved in Alameda for the past couple of years and doesn't really know much about their balance sheets and things like that. Yet he's been making a backdoor to get customer funds from FTX to Alameda Research. So we're just hearing more and more news as they do more investigations into this. It's not shocking at this point, is it? Anything that comes out now is just...
No, the FTX stuff, to be honest, a lot of bad things happened, didn't they? It's interesting, though, being that the people that were doing all of these things were wolves wearing sheep's clothing and hiding completely in plain sight. And I think that's one of the most interesting things. There will be a movie at some point about this, and it'll be a great movie when it does come out. Unfortunately, it will make crypto look shady and dodgy, but it'll be a good movie when it happens. And to be honest, all of the losses now have been erased from the FTX collapse. So to be honest, now we just need to understand as well that with regards to the current price of Bitcoin, when Celsius crashed and Celsius went bankrupt and Luna crashed and Luna went bankrupt, that was the crash from $30,000 down to $20,000. The crash from $20,000 down to $15,600 was the FTX collapse. So proportionally, as I pointed out at the time, look, the Luna crash was much worse for the crypto environment than the FTX collapse. FTX collapse was bad, but it was not as bad as the Luna crash. But at the same time, if we're going to go through this whole process now of undoing all of the mistakes that have been made in the crypto space over the course of the past 12 months, then the gap at $28,000 is looking quite attractive at this point in time. So don't write off a big pump. I mean, let's be honest, we're still in a bear market, but bear markets don't just oh my God, we're not in a bear market anymore. We come out of them and then people don't realize for a long time. Put it this way. When Bitcoin reached $13,000 after it had been down at $3,000, I thought this has got to be the peak. And then I sold my Bitcoin, bought a Lamborghini. Then the price of Bitcoin went down to $3,000 again. I thought, oh, look at me, I'm a genius. And then it got back up to 10,000 again shortly after that. And I'm thinking, I don't know, did I make the right decision here? And at the time, I probably had a stack of $100,000 sat on the side that I didn't buy Bitcoin with until Bitcoin reached about $15,000 and I FOMO'd in. And at that point in time, then it just goes bam, 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 all the way to the upside and it goes to $60,000. So understand that even at the point where I still thought that we were in a bear market last time round, we were not, and I invested still very, very early, and I invested in a lot of altcoins at the bottom of the bear market, which is one of the reasons why I did so well out of it. But the key thing here is it's never obvious. No one is 100% correct. The best thing to do is just consistently stack, because if you consistently stack, when the bear market comes back, you're in a good position. But bull market comes back, you're in a bad position if the bear market comes back. We don't want that to happen, do we? No, that sounds terrible. Anyway, Jess, next article or next thing.
Moving on to the next article, we have Hong Kong to propose list of crypto tokens for retail trading. So they have exchanges right now that offer thousands of tokens. We can see here some virtual asset platforms have over 2,000 products, but we do not plan to allow retail investors to trade in all of them. We will set the criteria that would allow retail investors to only trade in major virtual assets. So we're saying the government really pressed down on what their retail traders can do.
Because the thing is, now you have regulated crypto assets that will be available in Hong Kong. That means that there'll be educators that are allowed to educate people on how to buy these assets. And then when the people understand how to buy those assets, they also understand how to buy the ones that they're not allowed to buy, which then opens up their brains and they go, actually, a second, why are we buying these government regulated cryptocurrencies? This is what I think governments haven't twigged about CBDCs. It's okay, yeah, you'd go, fair enough, teach everybody how to use CBDCs. But when you teach them how to use a CBDC, you also teach them how to use a cryptocurrency. And at the point whereby the people understand the cryptocurrency, this is why I know for a fact that crypto will really take off when CBDCs take off. Because as soon as somebody understands a CBDC, they understand the cryptocurrency. And when they understand the cryptocurrency, which one would you rather? A government currency or a decentralized private network of people that all agree on the same thing and assign a value to a coin, rather than a government that just goes, it's worth $1. We have a network value and that network has value, so therefore a coin has value. Or you have basically things like USDC, which is probably a much better idea than a central bank digital currency, being that there is really no need for a central bank in this day and age, when we can just assign money value and have liquidity pools for it. If you have a traditional currency like the US dollar and you have USDC, as long as USDC is run properly, there should be no issue with a private digital currency like that. So I think this is all good news, and it's all kind of education based, and it should all lead to more adoption.
I think a big thing holding cryptocurrency back in general right now is that people are too scared and don't understand what it is. But with that education, there's nothing really stopping people from just getting involved. So there
And
really
who's going
should
to be
be
the biggest provider of education, Jess, in crypto?
cryptosavingexpert.com.
There we go. CryptoSavingExpert.com. Go to the website. We launch very soon. In fact, big announcement coming on the channel this week about that. So make sure you are subscribed to the channel so you see that announcement when it comes. And also at the same time, please do drop a like on today's live stream. Would really appreciate that. Trying to shoot for 100 likes. And at the same time, we just hit 2,000 subscribers. So if you are new to the channel, please do join in the fun here and help us get to 2,100 subscribers. That would be fantastic.
Moving on now to the next article, we have ex-Coinbase Manager brother bags 10 months jail term for $1.5 million insider trading. So we saw the start of this case a couple of months ago now. Pleaded guilty in September to wire fraud conspiracy and wire fraud charges in connection with a scheme to commit insider trading in crypto assets. So I believe there was two of these guys that were buying into assets before they announced they were getting listed onto Coinbase Exchange. I've not read this article yet. That is just what I remember from the start of the case. And now they've been charged, which is good. We're seeing a lot of the bad actors being taken out of the space right now, and things are starting to look a little bit more positive. So all of these negative things that we've been through in crypto in the last year have really shaped it up to be a better industry again in the next year, and it will continue happening until all of them are hopefully gone.
Hopefully that'd be nice. We want again, it's important that people see accountability because it's something that we've lacked in the crypto space, especially since the collapse of FTX, Celsius. Like Mashinsky's not in prison, Do Kwon's not in prison. SBF has seen the worst of it, but he's still not in prison. And his court date is not actually due till October this year, so he's not going to be in prison for a very long time. And even then, is he actually going to go to prison? Probably not. Those donations to various, well, being both political parties in the USA, because he donated to both sides, are probably going to play into his favor a little bit. So we've not really seen so much accountability, but it's nice to see some accountability, and it inspires more market confidence.
It's bizarre that we see things like that and those people don't get put away. But didn't we see? I can't remember what happens at the end of the story, but the developer of Tornado Cash got arrested for a period of time, didn't he? I don't know how that finished, but that was just bizarre to me that you could write a piece of code, deploy it onto a network, and suddenly, because it's being used in the wrong way, it's your fault and you've got to deal with the consequences. I'm not sure how that one ended. I'll have to research that one. Moving on to the next article, though, we have Bulgarian prosecutors charge 4 men linked to Nexo after raiding the crypto lender. So prosecutors alleged that Nexo was involved in international crime activities and had used its platform to facilitate illicit transactions involving money laundering and other unlawful crimes. The investigation seeks to uncover the illegal actions conducted by the crypto exchange and lender. Now, I'm pretty sure we saw that Nexo were going to sue the government of, where is this based? Bulgaria, for this invasion that they had last week. So this is going to be a big battle, I think, within cryptocurrency. According to the report, one of the defendants was charged with leading an organized criminal group related to money laundering, tax evasion, and computer fraud, while others were his accomplices. The man allegedly started the criminal group in 2018 and operated within the United Kingdom, Switzerland, Bulgaria, and territory of Cayman Islands. Authorities revealed that 2 of the defendants had already been detained with a $553,801 bail option pending trial. Per the report, law enforcement has also obtained search warrants for the remaining 2 men. This would be awful if this happened. Nexo is quite a big platform. To see another...
I know it has happened, and Nexo have confirmed that it has happened and that they were raided. Nexo just tried to say that they're innocent. And ultimately, I suppose it's a little bit like Benjamin Mendy in a way, because he got found innocent the other day. I don't know if you know who Benjamin Mendy is. He's a footballer that was accused of being a naughty boy when it came to women. Now, it's a similar thing in the sense of course, everybody likes to label everybody guilty until proven innocent in this day and age. Is Nexo guilty? Well, we know nothing really. We don't know if Nexo is guilty. We don't know if they're innocent. All we can do is kind of hope for the best and go, I hope that they're innocent. But really, we don't know. So, yeah, I don't know what's going to happen when it comes to this, and I would just say don't have your money on Nexo right now. If you do use Nexo, withdraw. That is probably the smartest thing that you could possibly do. I don't think it'll be a big collapse because ultimately they're not being arrested for being insolvent; they're being arrested for other things. So I mean, and other things that make you very profitable as a company. Maybe that's how they're generating so much interest. You never know.
Let's go on to the next article now. We have US SEC sues Gemini and Genesis over unregistered securities offering. Now, we saw this article last week. I just wanted to pull that up before we got on to the new article, which is Tyler Winklevoss says SEC lawsuit against Gemini is super lame. He said the SEC's move as super lame and a manufactured packing ticket. In a series of tweets on January 13th, the co-founder said the regulator's actions against Gemini are counterproductive as it does nothing to help affected users recover their funds from its former business partner, Genesis. So we've covered this a lot on the channel. We have DCG, which is the parent company to Genesis, and Gemini is a cryptocurrency exchange platform that had an earn section, and you could earn interest on Gemini Exchange because Gemini were lending funds to Genesis. It sounds more complicated, but when you've got your head around it, it's quite simple. So now we're seeing, obviously, Genesis had a huge issue with funds and couldn't pay Gemini the amount that they had lent to Genesis. And then we've seen all of this unveil on Twitter. They've been disputing this and putting out open letters on Twitter in front of everybody to see. So we've been unwrapping that here on the channel so far. But now we're seeing the SEC. Let's go back to the first one first. The SEC sued Gemini and Genesis over unregistered securities offerings. And now we're seeing Tyler Winklevoss said it's disappointing that the SEC chose to file an action today as Gemini and other creditors are working hard together to recover funds. This action does nothing to further our efforts and help end users get their assets back. Their behavior is totally counterproductive. It seems like a strange time for them to attack. I mean, the SEC just seem to attack anybody that they.
I think they've done it because they don't. The SEC here, think about who they are and think about what they want as an organization. The SEC want to make crypto seem as bad as possible. They, in order to further their agenda with the US dollar, and I call it an agenda because it is as ridiculous as it sounds. The US dollar is an ideology at the end of the day, just like Bitcoin is an ideology, cryptocurrency is an ideology. The US dollar is an ideology. It's just the most popular ideology right now. So they don't want anything threatening that. So anything they can do to weaken the credibility of the crypto space by making it look bad to the normal average individual, they're going to do that. So it doesn't come as a surprise to me that they are making this more aggressive approach, but I also don't consider it to be, again, a bad thing. The SEC is getting involved. They'll make something happen. They'll force somebody's hand and they'll come to some kind of solution. The SEC doesn't want companies to go bankrupt at the end of the day. They just want to make things look bad and dodgy, but they won't force any kind of worse situation. It's just the Winklevoss guys are upset being that they lent $1 billion of customer funds to this guy called Barry. Barry went and lost all of their money, and now they want Barry to give them their money back, but Barry's going, I lost it. And so the SEC, it just makes sense. Like it's just one of these things, it's just working its way out of the system. It's just like drinking a lot of water when you get ill. Just make sure you stay hydrated and it'll wash out eventually. It's a shame for Gemini, though, because Gemini have always considered themselves to be like the most legit exchange. I've been in conferences where they're selling themselves as the most legitimate that you could possibly be. And then this situation happens to them. So how legit were they when they were lending your funds to a guy named Barry? Yeah.
Moving on to the final article we have today, we have Binance Huobi recovers 124 Bitcoin stolen from Harmony's bridge. So I think CZ tweeted about this. Oh yeah, this is down here. They noticed, I think the hacker of Harmony had tried to move funds through Binance previously and they'd stopped it, and then they noticed they were now moving them through Huobi. So both exchanges have been working together to solve this issue, to try and pause those funds before the hacker gets control of them completely.
Yes.
So positivity in crypto this morning.
Well, again, hacks like this, assuming that it's not like a massively integral hack on the actual business or company, they're not overall that bad, to be honest. Because worst case scenario, you just roll back the blockchain and then just go from there, undo some transactions, and yeah, people don't like that, but it does happen. They did it with Ethereum once over. I don't really consider it to be that major. It's only a smaller network, and ultimately, that's the dog eat dog, isn't it? If your network gets hacked, then is it really that good? So yeah, that's my thoughts on that.
That is the end of the news for today. We have
check back in on Bitcoin's price. By the way, guys, I think we're so close to 100 likes on today's live stream. You're currently at 91 likes. So if everybody watching dropped a like on it right now, then we would hit 100 likes. So please do drop a like on today's video. And we're trying to hit 2,100 subscribers. So if you are new to the channel, please do subscribe. We go live every single day between 11 and 12 o'clock in the morning. And then we live stream until the news is finished. So join us every single day. Drop a like and subscribe and turn on all notifications as well. And then you get notified every single time we go live. Even if you don't want to see it, you still get the notification. So that's good.
Yeah, that is all really for us today. Have you got any more analysis to share, or do we think it's probably sitting the same as where it started, really, isn't it?
No, it's doing great. Everything looks really, really positive today. The entire market looks very joyous, which is nice to see.
Yeah, it's looking much better from where we were 2 weeks ago. And you think about the sentiment change that we've seen, it's absolutely shocking, but it's looking good. I'm just concerned about that CME gap really at the moment. But we'll see what time is it today that the CME, it'd be early, because today's the bank holiday, isn't it? But they're ahead of us. No, they're behind. So it'll be tomorrow morning.
Yeah, so the CME gap, it'd be like 1 o'clock in the morning tonight. That's generally when it is. I know it's not meant to work on our time, but it does seem to, like, the move happens on our time. So it tends to be that although the US time zone is behind us, the move tends to be around 1 o'clock in the morning. But if it doesn't happen around 1 o'clock in the morning, it tends to be around 8 o'clock in the morning our time as well. So it's like two different times that it can happen when it makes a really big push for closing. I think that's more so to do with hours of the day that people tend to trade the CME gap, if nothing else, because people specifically want to trade the CME gap and only the CME gap. So it's been interesting.
It's quite a profitable trade to trade only, though, isn't it?
Free money every week, isn't it? When you take the CME gap trade, but this week, I daren't take it this week because it could really. There's two gaps now. We're back above 20K, which means that is it more likely that Bitcoin takes the perceivable path of most pain and goes all the way up to $28,000? Because that would, again, wreck more people because there are more people still short on Bitcoin right now. And if you squeeze out all of those short positions, the price could really go sky high. Is it perceivably going to do more damage to crypto investors as a whole for the price to go up than it is to go down? And I would say, to some extent, yes, that would be the case. You look at the amount of engagement that some of these bears get on Twitter still from all of these desperate people that are still looking to short the markets. They're wrong and they don't realize it. Even if in the short term they may be correct, in the long term they're wrong. I feel like $28,000 is probably slightly more likely than 19,800, as ridiculous as that sounds. But I will, of course, be just playing the breakouts on this particular scenario. So I'm looking for a break personally of $21,500 before going like giga long on Bitcoin. But if we get that break to the upside, I'll be opening up a big long position.
It'll be a very interesting week, whichever way it goes. This is why we dollar cost average during the bad times, so that we can take profits now and
always buy. Because the thing is, a lot of people will say, no, these are scams, and that's what they say when the prices are low. But when the prices are high, they're all buying. So it shouldn't. It's amazing how people's perspective changes based on price, not facts. Well, the key thing is not to get caught up in the emotions of the market and just trade based on the research that you conduct, which is what I do, which is one of the reasons why I get so much hate, because people hate people that are objective thinkers. It is always been that way. If you've got something like, to use the Andrew Tate example, I don't like a lot of the things that he says, but some of the things that he says do make sense. But that's just because he's mixing in things that don't make sense with things that do make sense. But by doing that, he can then say, look how smart. He's consistently saying good things is basically the point that I'm trying to make. I've lost my actual initial point. Now I'm just said a compliment on Andrew Tate for some reason. I don't like the guy. I think he's a dick. Oh, don't swear on today's. Don't know. This is a company profile. Can't be doing that. In short, just buy the dip always and ignore the negativity on Twitter, because these guys don't know what they're doing. Most of the accounts joined in 2022. They don't understand what they're talking about. I've been here for 10 years now. Since 2013, I've been here, and now it's 2023. So who's got more experience? Some guy on Twitter that thinks he knows better than me with my 10 years experience, that joined Twitter in 2022 and claims to have been a Bitcoin investor since 2004 when it didn't even exist. Like, just understand there are good actors in the space and bad actors. Some of us are here for the long term, others aren't. Yeah.
I always think that the simplest, everyone that's been in the space for ages always says dollar cost average, take profits, dollar cost average, take profits. There's some really good altcoins out there as well. And then everyone that's new in the space is like 10x long, 100x long, do this, do that. And they get so caught up in it. But if you just actually stick to some basics for the majority of your portfolio, obviously it's very fun to trade with leverage as well sometimes.
So again, I want to point out with the leverage thing, I generally use around 5% of my portfolio in a leverage trade, or rather 5% of my portfolio is in a leverage account. And then I have, I trade with approximately probably 10 to 15% of the money in that account on a daily basis. And by managing your risk correctly, you can ensure that you are a profitable trader. Just don't get carried away with it. And again, slap a like on today's video. Make sure you are subscribed. Did we hit our like goal of 100 likes? Yes, we did. We got 112 likes. And how many subscribers are we at now? Let's just check in on that. We're at 2020. So again, 20 subscribers on today's live stream. Thank you very much to everybody that has subscribed. I would really appreciate it if you send this channel to your friends and neighbors and dogs and cats. And yeah, I think me and Jess are going to go now.
Yeah, that is all. Thank you very much for tuning in, and we'll see you again tomorrow.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye.